On the Hill, Senator Lugar and others have repeatedly suggested that they thought the president should go to Congress to have a debate over what the declaration of war in this instance before involving the United States in action with Libya. My question to you is, what do you think of those comments? Do you think that there's merit to that? And would you describe what's going on now as a war?
No. I think the president made that clear in a meeting with congressional leaders that he held in outlining all of the reasons why the United States was prepared to act in support of the international efforts on behalf of 1973. And of course, we would always welcome congressional support, but the president's very clear that the United States is acting in a way that is within the existing authorities available to him.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Thank you all. Have a great night in Paris, those of you who get to stay.
All right, Secretary Clinton just finishing about 20 minutes of her comments and then questions and answers after that.
A memo that's circulating on Capitol Hill right now notes that as a candidate back in 2007, Mr. Obama told the Boston Globe, quote, "The president does not have power under the Constitution to unilaterally authorize a military attack in a situation that does not involve stopping an actual or imminent threat to the nation, the United States."
We have to bring the Congress back. Congress has to make the decision. It's our constitutional responsibility, and it's time that we stop passing it off to presidents. This ought to be debated in the Congress. It should not be for the President of the United States to make this very powerful statement that sends a signal to the world that we're ready to get engaged in a no-fly zone without Congress having the chance to make the decision. It's not up to the president. He can't make that decision. There's no vital interest to the United States directly at stake here. He cannot tell the American people there's an imminent threat to the United States. And frankly, President Obama himself, listen to this quote, December 20th, 2007, as Senator Obama, he said, "The president does not have the power under the Constitution to unilaterally authorize a military attack in a situation that does not involve stopping an actual or imminent threat to the nation." Now, he can't meet his own test. That's why he needs to come back to the Congress and ask for permission.
But, Congressman, that was his candidate, Obama.
How would you have voted a few months ago when they had the vote on the so-called Iraq War Powers Resolution? Would you have? Is the Democratic Party split on that?
I think there is a division.
And how would you have voted? Would you have supported that resolution, voted yea or no?
If it had come to me in an up or down vote as it came, I think I would have agreed with our senior Senator Dick Durbin and voted nay. And the reason is not that I don't think we should have aggressive inspections. What I would have been concerned about was a carte blanche to the administration for a doctrine of preemptive strikes that I'm not sure sets a good precedent.
Most of you know that I opposed this war from the start. I thought it was a tragic mistake. Today we grieve for the families who have lost loved ones, the hearts that have been broken, and the young lives that could have been. America, it is time to start bringing our troops home. It's time to admit that no amount of American lives can resolve the political disagreement that lies at the heart of someone else's civil war.
We're going into a situation where American flyers go into a country, here, Libya, and shoot people. Kill them because we don't like the guy who's calling the shots in that country? Or are we going to do something that's daintier than that? I don't know what it could be at this point, but if we're flying into that country with our fighters and our bombers aimed at the targets in that country, there are people at those targets, and that's war. And the next thing we'll see are pictures in hospitals of the wounded, people with collateral damage. We'll see the hospital scenes of people wailing. We'll see the accidental sites hit, collateral damage. It's all the scenario that Colonel Jacobs is so familiar with as the pictures that come from war once a war starts. And it doesn't look pretty.
Yeah, and to Chris's point, if we see these images, this will not be a war that this administration, this president inherited. It will not be Afghanistan and Iraq, things that were fully in motion when he took office.
both surprised and deeply humbled by the decision of the Nobel Committee. I will accept this award as a call to action, a call for all nations to confront the common challenges of the 21st century. These terms are not subject to negotiation. If Gaddafi does not comply with the resolution, the international community will impose consequences, and the resolution will be enforced through military action.
There is criticism from leading members of Congress. Dick Lugar, a leading voice on the Republican side in the Senate on Foreign Relations, says, look, we can't go through with this unless there's a declaration of war. What is the compelling U.S. interest in attacking Gaddafi forces at this time?
The question is, what authority does the president have to vote, as we did in the UN, for the Secretary of State to make the statement she's making that we're out to basically get rid of Gaddafi? Where do the American people come into this? Do we get to vote? Does our Congress get to vote? We're going into a third war in the Middle East, and the question, third time against an Islamic government, and the question is, has this been authorized under our constitutional system? These are really good questions, and we're going to have to hear from the president.
And we know that there were lawmakers, including from both sides of the aisle, Senator Kerry, Joseph Lieberman, and John McCain, among a few others, who were openly pushing the president and the Secretary of State to support this no-fly zone. And we know in the resolution, as Mike Vaccaro pointed out, Chris, it says to take all measures necessary.
These are the same people who supported the war in Iraq, which has been discredited by most American lights. And so it's the same people. It's certainly McCain, Lieberman, they're hawks. John Kerry, an establishment figure, joining them, as Hillary Clinton is joining them. It's the same coalition of neoconservative hawks and establishment figures that got us in the last war. These people tend to think along the same lines in these kinds of situations. They don't have that sort of perhaps American instinct to stay out of foreign business. So we have to see how this develops politically. But the president's going to have to make the case for killing Arabs on international television. That's what this is going to involve. Firepower, including our firepower, being used against Arabs on international television. This is serious business. It's not just voting with the UN. It's joining in a military action the same way we went into Korea in 1950 in June. And so it may be the right course, but we have to check on the constitutional appropriateness of how we're doing it.